In this live coding session, you'll see another demonstration of test-driven development for SwiftUI View and what it enables us to do. And along the way, with the folks who are live with me on Twitch, we have great discussions about TDD. All right, looks like we have a quorum and are ready to go. Hey, Mudshark, Corey Wan, Pearl Guy, Grantivist. Pearl Guy says, need some TDD for ADD. That's attention deficit disorder. And that is very true. I am not, as far as I know, ADHD. But I've noticed some tendencies. We're all on a spectrum of some kind, right? And test-driven development is, I've heard from other people who are diagnosed ADHD saying they die without it. Like it's a godsend to have, amidst all the things, calling for your attention, to have one test that's saying, just do this next step and I'll give you a reward. It's great. Welcome, everyone. Good to have you. And welcome folks watching after the fact on YouTube. Hey, if you go ahead and subscribe, and you like what you see, even if you don't watch the whole thing, hey, give it a like. It'll help you. It'll help other people discover this channel. Test-driven development is just, it's so great. Let's see here. All right. We are working on what? Mastermind. One whole tab color from two choices. That, I'm going to simplify this to say play simplest game. Show the you win sheet. We did that last time. It just says boo right now, but it pops up a sheet, and this looks like a good place to go next. The content of the sheet should say you win or you lose. And we have two colors from which to choose, and we'll just make one the correct answer, hard-coded. We'll have a secret that never changes yet. So that seems like a good place to start. What else is going on? I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. So we have shows game over when code choice is filled. Doesn't show the game over when the code choice is empty. Important for triangulation. So I think we're at a point where we can write the next test. When you type test method, I'm so used to using my code snippet, I forget what this gives us. Yeah, okay, there's a reason I like it, mine. The reason I'm doing this is because I noticed that with Swift testing, the code snippet is actually good. It's actually useful, and so I don't need to create my own replacement. Yeah, show you win when the guess is correct, when the guess matches the secret. You lose first. Oh. Let's do that. just reorder these, and let's start with, whoops, you lose. You always lose by default. Oh, Michaela. Okay, that's it then. We got to go. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next. No. All right, let's see. Test game over shows you lose when guess does not match secret. That is what we would like. I really thought about adding main actor to my code snippet. Use it so much. But I actually put it in for a while and then decided against it, just because otherwise then you have, it's kind of noisy. That's actually why I preferred having main actor annotate the entire suite of tests. And that's what I did for a while until Swift started slapping me for it, saying XE test case isn't annotated as main actor. So, oh well. All right. We need a secret. Let's start with boo. I'm jumping around. Let's test the message. So if we say it should show the game over, I'm just going to copy this thing. That when we find the sheet, we should be able to ask it a question, I think. Let's have a look at our friendly sheet tests. So here is Corey1, good question. Simon, holy moly. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. I need to check current time in Australia. Simon, why? Oh man. I'm glad to have you. I really am. Okay. Hopefully I can put you to sleep and bore you. So that I'll sing to you, okay? Or I'll read you a story. You'll get bored by this soon enough. So the reason we couldn't is right. Why we had to stick with XE test is that View Inspector has it's tied to XE test right now. I expect, of course, that will change. Just had a thought, like, I don't know if anyone is using OC Hamcrest. Probably not for Swift. It just doesn't make sense to. So no need for me to bring that bring that up to support both XE test and Swift testing. It does have built-in support for like the stuff that came before XC test. So yeah, View Inspector. We'll see how it goes. So here is the title. Sheet text. Okay. Basically, if the sheet has some text in it, then we can just go sheet text, and that's easy enough. So let's do that. Grab that just as a little helper. And this will be we don't know if we need the sheet reference or not. I'm going to start without. And sure. Let's just try this and see what happens. Okay, good. That is what we want. Let me move this out because I don't like assertions in there. Am I doing this elsewhere? Yeah. Or this will be like game over text. Oh, like that. Look at that. The more I use Copilot, the more I like it, I think. Just rearranging this so that we should get the same thing. What's wrong? Okay, there we go. Starting to shape this into something we want. Now, we want to make the secret. We've got two code choices. We are tapping the first one. And we want the secret to be the second one. And there's no concept of the secret right now. Round balls. I am not very much of a sporting person. I do enjoy the Olympics, but mainly my wife is an Olympic kind of nut. But the main thing we like about the Olympics is the opening ceremony. That's because we like shows. That's what we do. All right, so the code choice, it's like that's more like code choice to tap. Oh, really? If the code choice to tap is that, and then the secret is, or I can start up here, let secret equal that, Could be the other way around, doesn't matter. And we're going to have to get that secret into the game somehow. That's awesome, Grant. All right. How? Game is not really sure what game is at this point because right now it only has the code choices. We can try putting the secret in there or something or an index or no, it's not an index. It's like maybe it needs to be another array of code choices. Yes. Colors with code values. Let's back up and shape this right. Oh, this is we may have to come back to this, but the number of code choices 2 sets the colors from a known set. We may need some help to say, the secret really ought to be a selection of the available code choices and not something you can't even, like a color that's not even available to you. But for the sake of moving forward with this, I think I'll just set it on the game. So if we say Yep. Muchark, you already caught what was suggested to me. So we'll figure this out as we go. I just want to move forward. So let's set this up. I wish I could just select this and say make this, right? I don't mention app code in every session. Game is here in code choice. It's kind of funny, but let's have, oh, it's a class. So it doesn't need to be a var. It can remain a let. And this will be Copilot seems to be losing its mind a little bit. That's all right. And this will start as nothing. that should... It's probably not bad. The quickest and easiest way to get this to pass is fake it till you make it. Good. Let's commit that. Now, that's a very harsh text, and I think product folks will want something a little more descriptive and a little less scoldy, but not worrying about that right now. Anything to refactor in here? Secret is not really, that's a code smell, a lazy variable. Let's inline that manually. Just to confirm, there is no inline. And this, of course, has no effect on the test right now, but I expect this will be fine. So that's a test-only change, like that. Next. And for those of you who don't do test-driven development on a regular basis, this is the standard pattern of test-driven development. Step one, fake it till you make it, with just put in something that works for the case that you have. And then put in kind of a counterexample. And the two, triangulate. Triangulation, I forgot when I summarized last session. It's not so much about the sides of a triangle. Triangulation is Kent Beck named it that for a technique that you use to locate things, where you have one. You say from one position, the thing we want is in this direction, and so all the points in that line, in that direction, or I guess it's not a line, it's a vector, are eligible parts of the solution. And as soon as you have a vector from a different location, and say the solution is somewhere along this other vector, and they meet, that is your solution. And so that's what we do all the time with test-driven development. You fake it till you make it, and then triangulation. So Michaela, there is a way to use Swift testing, but it won't be integrated with Xcode 15. So you could bring in the package yourself, I think, but you'd have to rely only on command line. Will the command line even work? I don't know. Because it's a pain in the butt, I'm not going there. And so, yes, I only use Swift testing in the 16 beta. And the reason we're not using it here at all is because View Inspector is tied to XCTest. All right, so we want another. Game show over shows you win when guess matches secret. Let's see. I thought, and maybe some of you have this, that there was some keyboard thing I probably normally can't use because I normally have rectangle, the window positioning thing. But I thought there was a keystroke for, thank you, Control Air. No. Grant, Control Shift arrow. Grant, you know exactly what you saw what I was trying to do. All right. So here, let's make this explicitly. The code choice to tap will be the game secret. Right? We got a secret. We're going to tap the secret. On terminal, it is Control W. Very handy. One of the things I love about pairing with people is learning the tricks and tips. And one of the great things about ensemble programming or mob programming is you could have all these super experienced developers and a brand new junior who knows something new that the old farts don't. And that is one of the greatest feelings is to be able to say, look, you're contributing. We're all learning together. All right. We'll just say you win as the simple text. Expect this to fail with the text you lose is not equal to you win. Good. Yeah. Everyone's got a part to play. All right. Failing test, great. It's getting a little wordy, a little complex. We may want to factor some of that out, but right now, just get to green, John. Just focus on the red to green. Let's go. What is an easy way to do this? And I want the simplest way first, and then we'll refactor it into something that actually makes sense, because I don't think it makes sense for the game logic to live inside of here. But we'll see. We'll get there. So essentially, we want well, look at that. Except that's not valid. I said, look at that, and I approved it as if like, wow, it knows so much, except it doesn't. It knows my intention. Uh, all right, I'm going to be the dumb one here. Remember, you all have like more SwiftUI. Any one of you probably has more SwiftUI than I do. So we want a conditional. I don't know that. Conditional view modifier? Isn't it just a... Is it that simple? What you guys are saying? Let's try it again. Where'd my completion go? I'll let me bring it back here. Right. I want trailing. Oh, come on. It's not going to give me the trailing closure conversion. Really? I mean, that's basically what I want. Now it's not yelling at me. So what is if? If is some sort of magic, if else. Because I know it's not a Swift if. Like it's not a straight thing. It is it's all part of the view builder. But I can't look it up. Is that really how it works? The test will tell us. Apparently so. Huh. So there must be some sort of... Anyone know how the magic works of how this turns into a view builder? I'm just curious. So, anytime I've found you can have a conditional provided you return a view in the end. Yeah, but wrap your if block in a group. Okay, so let's back up here. Pro guy. Using chat or any other assistance to help with SwiftUI way too often. Have to correct it. And that's life, I think. I am very hopeful that when we start using Apple's assistive stuff, that it will have more knowledge. It'll be very, very tuned to coding in Swift with SwiftUI, and so I think it'll be much better, right? So that'll be a good reason to upgrade. Yeah, you guys are discussing the question I was going to get to, is like, why? How does it work? I don't know. Nerds. All right. Anyway, we're green. Green, red to green is good. Oh, you. That's because, Michaela, you are on the bleeding edge, and you're smart. We'll see. There are times when it's just making up nonsense, and there are other times when it is pretty darn good. The time that it is really, really helpful is when you want to convert something from one programming language to another. That saves a lot of time. And I'm doing that with my other project. All right. Refactoring. So let's look at this and decide how it should determine this. We've got a game, and we've got a guess, and maybe that's all we need, or maybe the guess, maybe we should ask the game? Like, who should make this determination? I don't think the view should. Mudshark, hey, good on you. Is that the Aussie way to speak? I think I said that only because Simon is or was here. Yeah, I know. But what even was I? Oh yeah, AI assistive stuff. What I've found is that, and where it gets blurry, is when you don't have enough knowledge to code review it. It's basically autocomplete on steroids, right? And so if you treat it that way and you accept it critically as like, I need to review everything it suggests to me, then it's good. And yeah, sometimes it's helpful and sometimes it's not. Game secret. Yeah, I feel like we should pass the guess into the game instead of probing the game's secret. We should pass in the current array of guesses. to the secret. All right, let's do some refactoring. Let's pull that out. Or toss that in. The smell I'm identifying here, yeah. Maybe I don't need to think about that too much. I already know what I want to do. Game is over, game is winner. Right now is over. There's only one turn because there's only one choice. If I were trying to do this in an automated way, what would I do? I think I would take this whole expression out. Why is it suggesting? Oh. Well, you can tell I type in Japanese from time to time. All right, this is, let's do it this way. Is winner I think what I want to do is extract a function and then do move function. Yes, that Simon, that's exactly what I want to do. What I'm trying to figure out is how to is guess correct. I think that might be a better name. I'm trying to figure out how to get there in a series of safe moves. So I've done an extract variable. I can try a, haha. An extract method. We can change this. Basically, I want code choices. Something like that. Cannot convert value of code choice. Fine. I feel good, okay about that because we have not nil right up here. And now I can inline this. Okay, let's get this much in. Extract method. And now I want to do a move. And the way to do Yeah, I think it should be wrapped in, turned into an array, because we have one guess right now and that's all we have, but eventually we'll have however many whatever comprises the actual set of guesses, or the array of guesses. So hang on, let me get the book. Move function 198. I look up in the list of refactorings, and move function is on page 198, so I go there. Copy the function to the target context and adjust it to fit. Okay, so what I want is to copy this into game. And fix it up. First, don't want it private. And there is no, this is the fixing up part. There. Now that built, having done that, turn the source function into a delegating function. The source function here, we can now say, you know what, ask the game, and that should turn the source function into a delegating function test, and now consider inline function. Basically, we don't need this, we can just do that. Having inlined it, we can now delete that. And yea, I say unto thee, as is written by St. Martin. Oh man. If you do not have a copy of this, get yourself a copy. Like, seriously. All right, so that completes the move function refactoring. They are both good, and I still, oddly enough, I still pull out the first edition from time to time. That is there, covering up my book. Angles are hard. Super important. Of all the books, it is, I say this, I mean it, it is the one that changed how I code more than any other. It was my gateway into test-driven development in a lot of ways. And one of the things I wanted to do just now is when you're in the heat of the moment and you're like, okay, I just want to move this, and you don't have an IDE that will move it for you, move a function for you, then the mechanics, it's good to follow the mechanics and actually refer to the book, because the mechanics are broken down into the safest, smallest moves, and you just follow them. It's a recipe. Could I have gotten there in fewer steps? Yes. Just like I could have coded all this up without all these intermediate steps. But it's the intermediate steps that make it super safe. All right, so that is a test-supported procedural refactoring. And that is better. All we did was move the equal comparison, but it just feels better to say, to ask the game at that point. What about the tests? Is there anything to refactor in here? There's a lot of duplicate code. And maybe it's necessary, and maybe it's not. And maybe I'm overthinking it because I only have 2 tests. Michaela, I'm trying to write one of my first indie apps. I really hope to make it testable from the very beginning. But so far I haven't done that because I wanted to ship it super fast. Yeah, TDD, especially if you haven't done TDD in practice, it will slow you down because it is a new technique. And, you know, you can say, I think I get it, but you know, it's got to come out your fingers, which is what I'm doing here with SwiftUI. And my encouragement to you, Michaela, is if you reach a point where you don't have to ship super fast, where you can say, my goal is going to be not only to ship, but to try TDD, and allow that. Like, if you set that as a goal, then maybe you can give yourself permission to say, it's going to take a little longer. And I don't know. That's, of course, if you want to. And if you don't. Grant, another favorite of mine is Practical Object-Oriented Design in Ruby, also called the Poodr book, Poodr, by Sandy Metz. It is very good. Very, very good. Use is guess correct in the tests. I don't think I want to. Is guess correct is an implementation detail that the test doesn't need to know about. That's how we were able to move it without changing the tests, and I want to keep it that way. Certainly, is guess correct is tested to the extent that we have one choice or one guess. Hey, Eric, welcome. Good to have you. Simon, I've been doing TDD on an app, and on an app I have been developing, and it has been magic. Yes, it takes a little longer, but it works. Listen to Simon. I've only been a developer for about 25 years. Only 25 years. And I still have a goal to use only TDD. It will happen someday. You know, that's not a bad goal. May I suggest a more attainable goal would be more than I do today. Right? We don't have to I mean, there's nothing wrong with a vision. Don't get me wrong. But more than you do today, wouldn't that be a win? Great discussions, you guys. I've never regretted taking the time to write tests. I've regretted missing tests many, many times. And the thing is, testing saves time. It makes it faster to make changes, and it prevents a ton of mistakes that would take a lot longer to figure out and correct. Yep. On balance, I have found that when doing TDD for real work, it takes me longer until I get to say, I'm done. But it makes zero difference in the time to ship because the number of defects drops radically, and my refactoring speed goes up radically. So those two things mean that in terms of like time to ship, time to actually get it into the customer's hands, which is the only time that matters, is the same with all the benefits. Now, that's me as somebody who's been doing TDD for a long time, over 2 decades. So do allow yourself more time. If you're new on the journey, definitely allow yourself more time. And you may have to fight for that. I did. And there may be times when you're like, it's just not practical given the pressure I'm under. You know, we all got to live. We all got to earn our living. But that has been my experience. And that is to ship version 1. From the next change forward, the benefits just increase radically. I was pairing with a junior on an open source project, and they were expressing astonishment at how massive a change we were able to do safely and quickly, mainly because it was a project done under TDD. Yes, I've done huge amounts of refactoring once I've been able to get a thing under test in order to ship a feature. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah. You know, finding bugs will often be a shorter process. Cool discussion. Love it, love it, love it. Let's see, we're clean, right? Yeah. So this is done. What we don't have is hard-coded or any sort of randomization. I think maybe that's the next step. Ooh, Simon, I have also been using discovery trees and found them magic too. Can see what you have done easily, move stuff around as you like, much better than issue tools. It really is. I think as I consider like, okay, you know, are we done in our goal to play the simplest game? No, because we don't have a secret. We need a way to build a secret. But as far as you win, I think that's good. So, I think the next step is set the secret. Again, focusing our goal on play the simplest game. One of the things I like, Simon, about discovery trees is that I could, you know, this used, that might have been before you joined. This used to be a much more complicated thing, saying like tap a hole given two choices. And it's like, yeah, what is it actually trying to do? That's too nitpicky. And it's helpful, I think, sometimes to zoom back and say, what is the objective? Is to play the simplest game. Grant, if you want to build a discovery tree tool that integrates with issues, you should talk to a friend of mine who's has that as like something he wants to build. I'll like if there are more than one of you who are actually thinking about doing this, it might be good to get together. All right, set the secret. Do we want to start this? I normally code. Yeah, let's keep going. I kind of like the pattern. I thought, should we just stop here and put a bow on it? But but it sort of opens the door to new things. On the other hand, I kind of like having recorded sessions that have like a theme. One interesting thing that I want to do with randomizing is to try for the first time to use the nullables pattern or pattern language instead of creating the usual style of like mocks and spies. It will be interesting to try that. Debating, move forward or not. I think that's interesting enough to warrant another session. Yeah. If I'm thinking about it this long and we only have, 20 minutes left in the normal schedule, then let's call it. Let's say this is good. Okay. Stuff. Anything any takeaways from this session? What did we do? Show you win. We really did these two together. You win and you lose. Let's have a little retro. This is a good thing to do in any pairing or mobbing situation. And retros don't have to be at like, some large, big affair. It just needs to be it's good to shift from doing the work to thinking about the work. Conditionals and views, just use, it's just, it worked out really nice. I still don't know how it works. And maybe it is just straight Swift involved in there. Like maybe that's an actual if-else statement. It sure looks like it. Maybe instead of the for each, because the for each needs to build up multiple views and produce them. If else is definitely going to go down just one path or another and just take whichever path it is and shove that into the view builder. So maybe that's it. Document the process. Comments, commit messages, issues, discovery tree, retros, documents. Every bit of meaningful information recorded is a breadcrumb for later developers, including future you, to figure out what is going on in a project. There's a thing I have not used that has a particular, like, it's like its own pattern language, and it is an architectural decision document. And that's not quite the right name. Maybe one of you knows what I'm talking about, where you put in the repo each major decision you've made, giving a context and the things you considered and the decision you went with, all in a set template, a pattern language, so that you have a history of the decisions that were made and when they were made and what context they have, so that you can maybe either revisit them later or you can lean on them for other things and say, why did we do this? Oh, that's why. What is that called? What is ADR? Architectural decision. Architecture decision record. That's something to look up. Diagrams. Diagrams are very, very helpful. For diagrams, mermaid, because you can stick the mermaid into your source code, and a good IDE will render it for you, or GitHub. Ooh, yeah. Now there it is. Let's look that. I want to read through this a little more and understand it. So thank you. If you stick mermaid diagrams into your source code, then and if you happen to be using GitHub, not saying you should, but it'll like render the diagrams, and having the diagrams next to the source rather than in some separate document means the drift is less likely because it's right there. What other things did we learn? Great discussions. Let me just, it doesn't have to be learning. It can just be it can be like, what do we want? One of the things that Woody Zuhl, okay, I'm using this time to talk a little bit about retros. Woody Zuhl is, I mean, he's the godfather of mob programming, which he now calls software teaming. But one of the things he does that's infected various people, and those people have in turn infected me, is the question, turn up the good. Like, what was good that we want more of going forward? I loved the discussions today. I thought they were really good. There we go. Let's have a look at, yeah, if you stick mermaid in here, okay, here's an example. If you haven't seen mermaid, here's a diagram, like customer with some type of connector to a delivery address, and the connector's label is has, and so on and so forth, and draw it out, and it renders it like that. It is great. It is really cool. Anything else? The rest was pretty, to me, normal TDD, but maybe, hopefully there was something good you took away from it. But the fact that we could do it at all in Swift, when people say don't write tests, at least don't write unit tests for SwiftUI. I want my microtests or SwiftUI so that we could do the refactoring of saying, well, I want to take this and create a domain concept and move it. And we did that by using the book. The book doesn't call them recipes. It calls it mechanics. I like recipe better. I think it's more, I don't know. To me, mechanics feels more, it sounds more soulless. And I don't think that's what Martin intended. And maybe it has a different nuance in British. Mechanics does. British English, traditional English, as opposed to simplified English. All right. This is good stuff. This was a fun day, a fun session. I really appreciate it. I think we called it at a good point to get it all in place. Thank you for joining. And, oh yeah, usual statements. Folks who are following after the fact on YouTube, if you've watched this far, definitely give it a like. And Twitch folks, hey, consider subscribing. It's nice. It gives me a nice feeling just to have it's a tip jar basically. Other than that, come back next week. I do plan to take in 2 weeks from today, I'll take that off for another trip. Just a quick long weekend trip. But that's it. All right. Thank you everybody for coming. I'll see you next time. Take care.